All right. Today's icebreaker. Because it only printed. Oh, what happened? No. Okay. Has anyone here been ice skating or skiing before? Yes. Yes. You've been ice skating. Oh, yeah. Ice skating or skiing? Melissa, ice skating or skiing before? Or on Zoom? Has anyone, and just turn off your mic and shout it out. Has anyone been ice skating or skiing before? Ice skating. Anybody else? Okay. Ice skating. Okay. All right. So how does it feel when you're ice skating? I don't know that anybody's a professional, but how does it feel when you're ice skating? It feels like you're about to fall. Most of us don't know how to ice skate, right? So you're kind of slipping and sliding and holding onto the wall. Yes? Hold on. I got people chatting okay. Yes, ice skating, long time ago adventures. Yes. Okay. Hello, my love. How are you? All right. Ice skating or skiing? Okay. So next question. Has anyone actually slipped on the ice when ice skating or skiing? Have you ever slipped on ice? She fell on ice. Okay. How about slipping on black ice? Yes. And tell me, how does one slip on black ice? You can't see it. You can't tell. Ooh, you can't tell the difference. You're walking and boom. Okay. Yes. Doing door to door and broke $500 tablet. Eee. Okay. So what is worse than falling? No. Yeah. What's worse than falling? Not getting on the ice at all. That's good. What's worse than falling? Almost falling.
Why?
Almost falling. Anybody? Can anybody agree? What's worse than falling? Like the fear of almost. Because it's like, oh, I almost fell. Because then you don't want to get back on. Because now you're afraid of falling altogether. So you'd rather just stay. You don't want to take a shower no more. Okay. Okay. Next week we're all going to be on Zoom. So here's the thing about falling, right? As a kid, when we fall, it could be dangerous for a kid to fall. Why can it be dangerous for a kid to fall? Because, they can hurt themselves. They don't know how to fall or whatever, they can hurt themselves. But it's more dangerous, and you guys can agree to disagree or disagree altogether. Tell me if you agree or disagree with this statement. Falling is dangerous for a kid. Falling for an adult can be deadly. Yes, right? When you're a kid, when somebody falls as a kid, like Amaya one time fell down the stairs, broke her arm. Okay, but an adult falling down the stairs, they could die. Actually, that's how my uncle passed away. He fell up the stairs. Yeah, up the stairs, down. No, he was walking up and fell back and died. And it was only literally like 2 or 3 steps, but took him out. And the crazy thing is that he had beat cancer and he died from falling. That's how dangerous falling could be. Okay, that's insane. Yeah, but it just goes to show you that when it's your time, it's your time, and we can't cheat death. Okay, so because you can really hurt yourself, and bones don't recover as fast when you're an adult. That's the truth. Kids recover quicker. And let me see you'll never see the beauty on the other side because of fear. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I'm like trying to do 2 things at once. So if I don't get to you, that's because I'm looking down here. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example. The other day, we were organizing in the studio, and we took everything out of the studio, out of my closet, and put it all over the floor. Now, my aunt, who has balance issues already and suffers from vertigo, is progressing into the studio. And Amaya's telling her, and I'm going to stand up for this so you guys can see it because this illustration will be used later. I mean, as best as you can. Amaya's telling her, don't walk in the room because you can slip. And we just agreed that older people falling can be deadly. So my aunt, being my aunt, was like, slip where? Slip where? Slip where? And Amaya's having like a panic attack because she already has vertigo. She already walks kind of like off. Yeah, without balance. So the fact that she was like playing around, and there was so much stuff on the floor. And it was like, she was like, slip where? Slip where? Basically playing around on a very dangerous foundation. Okay, y'all got that? Playing around on a dangerous foundation. Understanding that it was dangerous and not caring or not taking it seriously enough. I say that to say this. How many of us, and I'm going to bring it back over here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but how many of us are we dancing on ice tonight? How many of us are dancing on ice tonight? How many times are we walking thinking there's no danger and yet there's black ice everywhere? Gut check, okay? In what areas, and again, gut check is simply you guys thinking to yourself. It's not for you to respond. It's a rhetorical, right? So in what areas of my life am I on a slippery slope? In what areas of my life is my vision hazy and senseless? What am I doing or not doing that seems to be harmless but can really cause us to stumble? So today's class is slippery slopes. And we were talking about ice skating and skiing. And I just, really quick, and it just came to my mind. I was watching YouTube and the news came out real quick. There was like a professional skier and she must have took a wrong turn. And I mean, you could see her fumbling. And I'm assuming like it's not one of those light fumbles. Like they had to airlift her, like literally airlift her. It was not good. Okay. So I want you to keep this in mind as we're going through the class. All right. So in what areas am I on a slippery slope? In what areas of my life is my vision hazy and senseless? And what am I doing or not doing that seems to be harmless but can really cause us to stumble? And the other one is, how many of us are dancing on ice tonight? Keep that in mind, okay? So tonight's classes, and we'll talk more about this later, but slippery slopes in the spirit happen one compromise at a time, okay? Slippery slopes in the spirit happen one compromise at a time. Okay. Our focal verse for tonight is based out of Mark chapter 8, verse 22. Okay. If somebody wants to read it, and I just want you to read, let's just do 22 and 23 for now. Okay. Go ahead, Mimo. Okay. Tell me, what do you glean from that text? 22 and 23. Yeah. Whoever. That's okay. Okay. Why outside? Anybody wanna?
They brought it. It was like, maybe not the whole town, but the town was there. People from the town was there, and they were like, they probably have heard of Jesus, heard of the miracles, and they were probably expecting a show. Mm-hmm. They were probably, okay, he's going to do something. Mm-hmm. And Jesus was like, no, we're cutting this off. And he took the guy and removed the spectacle away from him.
Okay. Anybody else? Yeah. The privacy factor. What about anything else comes to mind there? Melissa, go ahead. What you got? The spit? Okay. Well, we're healed by his DNA, so. How about, it says, some people brought a blind man and begged Jesus to touch him. Doesn't this look familiar? We spoke about this, I think, 2 weeks ago, or maybe prior. But it was about the friendships. The fact that he was in a situation, and it says that they begged Jesus to touch him. So it keeps coming up. And so it really, when something is mentioned in the Bible over and over, it's because obviously the Lord wants us to notice, pay attention that the people around us matter, right? Because if you have people around you that are not willing to intercede for you when you can't do it yourself, then you need a new group of people to be able. Mm-hmm. Life happens, yep. And that's the part you said, and I'm going to, because it matters. Yep. It's all about, did I spell that right? Yeah. It's all about community. Who are you surrounding yourself around? Because here's the thing. The truth of the matter is that we're all human and we're not always going to be on a high. And if you're not surrounded around, it's almost like if you're the most Christian person in your group or closest to Jesus in your group, it's not that, oh, well, my family, I'm the only one. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the people that you confide in, then you really need to reevaluate your friendships, because iron sharpens iron. People should encourage us to get closer to Christ, not further away. Will that cause, well, then you're telling me that I need to reevaluate all your friendships. Well, then, yeah, that's the truth. Because the truth is that some people are around us, not because they love us or whatever. It's convenient. You know what I mean? And the walk with Christ, and it's the truth, is a lonely road. Because not everybody in your corner is going to be running after Christ. And again, it's a matter of preference. I mean, you don't have to switch up your friend group. You don't. But just know that when you're in the lows, if they're not there to pick you up, then you understand, like that decision is yours. But I don't know about y'all, but I don't want people around me that when I'm down and out, they're not going to encourage me to get back up. And that's the thing. We're not always going to be on a high. So community matters, and we should always remember this verse, right? So this is what I noticed in this. I just noticed, and I was like, man, God, you just keep highlighting that. Like, they begged Jesus to touch him. And then as Julissa pointed out, he took the blind man by the hand, led him outside of the village. When he had spit, Melissa said, on the man's eyes and put his hands on him, Jesus asked him, do you see anything? All right, that's where we're at. Do you see anything? 24. Somebody read it. Anybody? No. Oh, hey, calm down. Slow down. 24, just 24. You guys got it on Zoom, 24, right? He looked up and said, what, Jules? Now, last week we were talking about vision versus eyesight. Vision is more mental and eyesight is physical, or what you can perceive, okay? But so Jesus puts his hand on his eyes. This is Jesus, but the dude can't see clear still. Gradual healing. But what do we know about Jesus? He doesn't heal the same all the time. But this must have been confusing, right? Because why? Wait, they expected it to be an immediate, and I don't know about y'all, but for those of you who wear glasses, I can literally take my glasses off now and I can't even see. Now, my vision is so bad that Teresa's face I only see the color of the roundness of her face and the black hair. That's it. I can't see the details of your eyes. I can't see your nose. I can't see anything. I'm completely blind. But believe it or not, when sometimes I get lazy and I don't want to wear my glasses or my contacts, I'm just tired and I'm just like, I just take it all off. I mean, I could see Ariel right there. It's really not that deep, even if I can't see clear. But I can make out the movements. And sometimes when I'm driving, don't get crazy. But sometimes when I'm driving, like I'm just like, I need to rub my eyes. And I'm like, I can still see the road, but that's a little dangerous, right? Because if something comes out, that's, yeah. Thou shalt not test the Lord. Okay. So why does Jesus heal the blind man in 2 stages? Because clearly we know that the man is healed, right? If you continue to read. And yet he doesn't heal him the first time. He wants to make him a believer. Okay. He wants him to understand more. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but we've spoken about Mark before. He's very strategic in the way he writes. That's why a man couldn't have written this word, because the way it all comes together. Mark often uses the sandwich method. He will use illustrations, get to the point. Illustrations, get to the point. Last week, we spoke about vision. We spoke about seeing. We spoke about the disciples. And Jesus telling them, having eyes and you do not see, having ears and you do not hear. They thought he was talking about bread. And he's like, I'm not talking about bread. I'm talking about your relationship with me. Come on. Remember the class before that? What was it about? Do you guys remember the class before that? Yeah, I don't remember the class before that. What was it? No, the fish was this one. What was before that? Sign language and the background check. And what was it about? Hearing. So the class is about hearing. Last week it's about, do you not see and hear? And this week it's about vision. Do you see that? He uses the sandwich method. And if you start looking it up, you'll see that Mark does that each and every time. That is the way he teaches. And so he's telling them, having eyes and you don't see, having ears and you do not hear? I wonder how many Christians are walking around like this blind man with partial healing, seeing without clarity. We're Christian. We believe in Christ. We get touched by Christ. We can see, but we can't see clear, but we're satisfied with it. Just like I said, I'm okay with walking around. I'm okay with what happened. I'm okay with driving if I got to take my glasses off because my eyes hurt. But here's the thing. We come to church one day. How many of us are walking around with partial healing? That's another gut check. Partial healing, seeing without clarity. Healing can happen immediately or healing can take place over time. How many of you in certain areas of your life, God did it immediately? And then in other areas of your life, you're still questioning like, okay? So no, it's not. It's not an overnight thing. As a matter of fact, healing is not linear. Healing is never linear. In real life, even when you go to the doctor, I ate bacon the other day on accident. My stomach is still recovering from the bacon. Yes. And the crazy thing is, and this is so spiritual, it's not even funny. Because my husband, I took a piece of it and I was like, I don't like regular bacon. So that's why I thought it was turkey bacon. Took a piece of it. I was like, this is pretty good. And then I looked at it and then I said, babe, is this turkey bacon? He was like, that's not turkey bacon. That's regular bacon. He said, but it's only a little bit, so you should be okay. So because it was only a little bit, your girl ate 2 more pieces. Worst thing I could have done, because 6 hours later, my stomach felt like it was giving birth against itself. Like literally, it felt like I had a whole baby in there kicking every organ in my body. And here's the thing. I ended up getting a bladder infection from it because it just got ugly. Long story short, that was like a week ago, and my stomach still has not recovered from the little piece of bacon. It wasn't even a lot, But here's the thing, that's how sin is. Go ahead, give me a verse. But that's how sin is. But it's only a little bit. It's only a little bit. But those little things that we do can have long-term effects that we didn't think it was that deep. I didn't think it was that deep. Now talk to me if I want to have pork or beef. After that pain, I've learned my lesson. I will check every piece of whatever looks like meat before I eat it because that's how much pain I was in. But in real life, in our spiritual walk, sometimes we play around with something. We dibble and dabble with something. We already know we're not supposed to. We do it anyway. And then we dealing with the consequences, a broken heart, et cetera, et cetera. And we're like, God, but why did you let me? And it's kind of like, God is like, just like God didn't tell me to eat the piece of bacon, God is telling us the same thing. Like, you know it's not good for you, and yet you're still playing with it. How many of us are dancing on ice? And healing is not linear. We come to church one day, we get prayed over, we leave better than we were at, amen? And so we think we're good. We go to the altar, we get prayed for. You were really heavy before you got to church. They prayed for you, now you feel better. But here's the thing, that was not complete healing. Because as Kenji said, healing is not from one day to the next. Just because you got prayed for doesn't mean, and sometimes it could mean that, right, Mimi? It could mean that you're immediately healed, but 9 times out of 10, there is a process for you to get healed. Because you know what? That mess you got yourself into didn't happen overnight. If slippery slopes are one compromise at a time, just like gaining weight is 1 pound at a time, sometimes 4 or 5 if you have 5 pieces of bacon, then that means that healing is 1 step at a time. And it may not even look like that. And we know that, right? Everybody knows that. Sometimes it looks something like that. You ever heard that term? I took 2 steps forward, 10 steps back. It happens to the best of us. We assume we were good because, Charlie came and he was healed immediately. And so it must be the same for me. So we give up then. Now we feel bad. Now we're walking around without complete healing, but now we feel bad because I thought I was healed, but I really wasn't. I'm still struggling with the same thing. And now we start getting mad at God. And so we just this is where that happens. And now we're just like, I should just go back to that, when in reality, you're not there anymore. God did do partial healing, but yeah, now all this other stuff. And a lot of us probably whisper on a daily basis, but I thought I would have been better by now. How many of you can relate to that? I thought I would have been further along by now. But here's the thing. Unless you're connecting to the source on a daily basis, you're not going to be further along. Because healing is gradual, but healing only happens when we connect to Jesus. So if you had an encounter with Jesus here, but you don't continue to encounter Jesus, eventually 2 things are going to happen. You're going to stay here, or you're going to go back here. But you're not going to move forward. You're not. Because in your mind, you've convinced yourself that you already went to the altar and were already prayed for, and I was already healed because they spoke tongues over me. But healing is not linear, is it, Kenji? It happens over time. If you get a cut on your finger and you put a Band-Aid and you take the Band-Aid off tomorrow, the cut's still going to be there. And if you're like me and you like picking your scabs, you're really not going to heal. And yet some of us in the spiritual are the same way. We pick at that thing and we open it up again. And we open up that door again that God said, I'm already trying to close that door, and you keep messing with that door. And then you're mad because you can't see clearly. Come on, does anybody know what I'm talking about today? And that's how you know, based on your reaction, I still have more work to do. Why do we go through the same thing over and over again, Jazz? Partial healing. And Marilu was going to say something in reference.
Basically, that a lot of people, God puts a promise in front of them, or they pray and they have, but the way that she put it, basically, that people are so just ready to have the promise and just focus on what the promise is and just seeing it through, that they don't look for his presence. So God will fulfill that promise, basically, but his presence won't be there moving forward. So the promise that you got is basically like not really a good promise now, because he would have prepared you to maintain it, to be able to mentally be prepared to be in that position, but now that you just basically get that promise, and now.
Well, here's the thing. A lot of us get the promise, but we can't sustain the promise. What God has given us, the blessings God gives us, if we're not connected with the Lord, we will destroy with our own hands. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you think you're good and you're not. That's the problem. And so a lot of us probably whisper on a daily basis, but I thought I would have been better by now. And look at what 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, another anchor verse. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so Christ's power may rest on me. The problem is, what's the problem there? I'm going to throw this one out. But what's the problem there? What's the key word in that verse that we have a problem with? Yeah. I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses. You can't boast about something you're not willing to admit. We don't want to admit that we're weak. We don't want to. And I'll go even further. I don't know about men because I'm not a man. But as a woman, we stubborn. And we do not want to admit that we need help. Especially if you were raised by an independent woman who always did everything by herself, even if her husband was there. Ladies, can we all agree? We all got, yes, yep, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. But here's the thing. When you're raised, and I don't know about the men, but when you're raised by a woman who life made her do everything on her own, Melissa, I know you got one just like that. 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 I know Janet got one just like that. Teresa, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. Tiffany, yes. Daisy, I could already tell. And when you're raised by a woman that will not let anything break her, and amen, that's what they had to do to survive. But women, guys, just give me a second. Women, we're a whole nother generation, spirit filled. We need to be able to boast about our weaknesses. We need to be able to admit that we have weaknesses. It's okay to shed a tear. Daisy's like, nobody gonna break me. It's okay to break down. We're not gonna break down in front of people, but it's okay to break in front of the presence of the Lord. I seen my mom the other day break, but she didn't break at the hospital. She didn't break at the house. She didn't break at ShopRite. My mom waited till she got to that altar, and there she broke. Everything that's been weighing her down, that's where she broke. It's okay to boast all the more gladly about my weakness so that Christ's power may rest on me. But if we're not willing to admit that we need healing, like Jazzy said, if we're not willing to admit that maybe we don't have it figured out, if we're not willing to admit that we are weak, how can his power rest on us when we're so, God is like, well, then you don't need me. If you don't need me, then why would I help you? Right? You got it? You know, I'm sure Azim's like, no, I can do it. And he's there for like 20 minutes trying to put his shoe on. You're like, I can help you. No, I got it. And then he finally got it, but the shoe is on backwards. You're like, bro, but I got it. Right? Okay, hold on. Before I want to do it. And we're the same way in the spirit world. We must remember that physical healing and spiritual growth are often not instantaneous. We must hold tightly to Jesus, continuing to look to him to meet our physical and spiritual needs. The answer to our prayers may come quickly, or they come through stages after extensive waiting or in the new heavens and new earth. Okay, so now let's go back to the verse. Okay, so what verse am I focusing, what word am I focusing on before we even get to 26 where Ariel's going to break it down? Because hold up. Restored. In order for something to be restored, that means that he was able to see before. How would you know what trees look like unless you've been able to see? Wait, so something happened. Hold on. So you guys heard that on Zoom? Restored. Restoration only happens if you had it before. He most likely lost his sight because he had some recognition of people. Jules said that. It's not that he had been born blind. Yeah. Okay. So go. No. Before, go ahead. You're going to say something. Some of us weren't always in the condition we find ourselves today, but guess what? We were dancing on ice on a slippery slope. That's why we became blind again, because what God had delivered us from before, now we're blind again. We didn't learn I've been there over and over. Same freaking rock, man. That's the worst. Falling is bad to begin with, but when you keep tripping over the same thing, it's kind of like, damn, like, You should know better, right? At this point, this is the only thing I'm saying to myself. I thought I would have been better by now. Okay, I'm gonna have Ariel break that. We're gonna go there. Yeah, we're going to go there. We're going to go there. Hold on. I'm loving it. Okay. Slippery slopes in the spirit happen one compromise at a time. We said that before. So what is the compromise? What is the compromise? How does compromise happen? Why are you trying to get? Wait, you on 26, and we still try to be at 25. Go, Kenji, go ahead. Don't. Okay, that bacon. I know, girl. That bacon. That little taste. Okay, but now give that compromise, man. I'm not even joking. That my stomach's still recovering, man. Never again. Okay, we slowly stop participating in things we know are good for the soul. You don't wake up one morning and decide I don't want to seek Jesus anymore. Nobody ever wakes up one day and say, you got something, Melissa well, go ahead, Melissa. Huh? We let fear of the future, the pressure to conform to cultural expectations or maybe bad attitudes corrupt our spiritual vision slowly over time. But tell me, let's bring it to nowadays. What is a compromise where we go from being able to see to completely blind again? What is the compromise? It is different for everybody. Justified because your feet hurt. Yeah, but you don't have to be. I'm not playing devil's advocate. But you don't have to be in church all the time, Mimi. You don't have to. Yeah, but I know some other sisters and they don't come all the time and they're like spirit filled. So, okay. Give me a compromise, Ariel. We're going to go around the room. So start thinking.
So she woke me up and I was like, oh, it's too early. I can still stay in bed and I wake up at my regular time to pray. And I could hear the Holy Spirit telling me, okay, you can be tired now. You can be tired of praying with me right now. What's your choice? Said, yes, sir. Right away. Because I know I've learned to catch myself when I want to slip. I know that's when tragedy occurs. So I've learned now that when I catch myself slipping.
After everybody goes, I'm gonna share something that you say tragedy occurs. Okay, who's next? Imani, tell me, what is a compromise for you? Because who said it? It's not you said it. It's not the same for everybody. It's not the same. So go ahead. What is a compromise for you for your walk? I'll do it later. Okay, Daisy. Those rolling of the eyes is a compromise, sister. I'll give you time. I like messing with you. Go ahead, Tiff. Mm-hmm. Right. Oof. Teresa. Tomorrow in the morning, you got to go back to work anyway. Janet. Oh, that's a good one. That is good. And yet, that's right. How many of you agree with that? Not everything is spiritual, and yet so much is spiritual. Right? I found myself saying that too. Like, this come on, but let's kind of wrong today. But there are people like that too, though. Jesus, what should I wear today? Yeah. What was that? Jocelyn just said, I got arthritis in my knees and my wrists. I can't make it physically or tap into Zoom. I'll try again next week, but I'll pray harder tonight. That's an example. That's a good one. That's a good one, Jocelyn. Jules.
In the morning, I want to sleep because I had sleep. So it's like it's the juggle, and I'm new in my walk. And like, who do I reach out to? Because I know I don't want to stress out leadership.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like it forces me to like talk to God and say, hey, this is what's going on, and this is what's stressing me out. This is anxiety. So that.
Okay. ¿Quiere pensarlo? Okay.
Because of this, I'm feeling limited because of something that I can't really control. With that, it comes to like even today, like certain days where I'll be like super low, and I'm like, I don't even want to see anything. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to think about anybody right now. Like, I put myself in such a place.
Intentional. But it's exactly what she said. It's intentional. You play your part. Or you could just lean on the fact, no, I have mental health problems. Yeah.
You know what I'm doing today. Let me put this all behind me, all into this, and whatever you have.
That's right. I love that. Destiny, compromise. You want to think about it? Maya? No? Okay. Kenji. I'm about to go on Zoom, so go. Yeah. But you didn't want her to know you were coming because she was going to hold you accountable. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Daisy. Daisy's like, dang, girl. Joe, compromise. I'll give you one. You weren't trying to be late to church today, even if Rafa wasn't coming. You don't compromise that. All right, my love. Compromiso. She's saying, look for the Lord in the morning. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, everybody seems.
If he wakes me up.
They keep saying. All right. My Zoom people, because I don't want to forget about you. Bernadette, we'll start with you. Compromise. Bernadette? Yeah, I can hear you now, babe. Sin. Compromise. Okay, we'll come back to her. Wait, hold on. Okay. Jazz. Compromise. That's
I always, like, I think somebody also mentioned it, like, waiting for last minute. And, speaking on me is like,
okay, Jazz. Okay. Cynthia's audio is not working, but she says compromising is lack of opportunities with time management procrastination. Karim wrote, A compromise for me is adjusting how I move, not who I am, being patient with timing, not lowering the vision, choosing peace and progress over ego and impulse. And last but not least, meeting people where they are without leaving where I stand. Wow. Karim, why are you on Zoom? Why are all of you on Zoom? Y'all need to be here. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Okay. And one for me is joking, not kidding. And one for me is directly connected to what Brother Ariel said. So I've been trying to be more intentional about my time with Jesus in the morning, right? When I wake up in the morning, instead of going on social media, instead of going to walk the dog, instead of whatever, I try to connect with the Lord. The other day, homegirl didn't do it. I was just like, it's okay. I've been on a good walk. I've been doing my thing 4 out of 5. Big mistake, because that was the day that I wasn't watching and the enemy came and literally caught me from the back. I let my guard, and literally I told my cousin after, I said, I know why this happened. And she was like, why? And I was like, I didn't connect with the Lord this morning. Now she's not a believer. She's looking at me like, you're out of your mind. And I'm like, no, I'm not even joking. Huh? Yeah. She was like, because you didn't pray. I was like, girl, lately when I've been praying, anything comes at me and it just slides off like butter. Like I'm in such a good mood. Like it don't even bother me. And today I didn't do that. And enemy caught me slipping. And it was literally, I had the conversation in my head, like, it's okay. It's just one day, justified it. But that just shows me like eating the bacon. Yeah. Daily bread. Right. Okay. This.
You can't slack it, man, because you don't understand that this is not because God needs you. It's that you need Him.
Come on, Ariel.
You don't feed yourself from Him. You're disconnecting from the source. It's like you don't expect, especially iPhones, you don't expect these things to keep a charge a full day. Like you gotta have a charger with you all the time because you don't know the moment that you need it the most. It's like, oh, battery dead.
Yep.
So you need a source. You need to connect to it. So I've made up a resolution on myself. I'm like, okay, this is a non-negotiable now. I can't negotiate with it.
Yeah.
This is a non-negotiable. So I like morning and in the evening, and now adding the time with my girls. I said, we're in this, and we're in this for real. And they're like, oh, but I'm tired. I'm like, I don't care, you're tired, you're coming. And they're like, but you're being a dictator. Your soul will thank me later. And they'll be like, you're being a dictator. Your soul will thank me later.
You'll literally thank me later.
Yeah, your soul will thank me later. You're like, you hate me, whatever you want. God will take care of that. I'll be the bad guy. I don't care. I'm like, I'll be the bad guy. I don't care.
Imagine being mad because he's making me pray. Like that's wild.
That's him especially.
She's like, please, like I need a dictator in my life.
That's more admin.
But that's, you know what? She may not understand the blessing of that now. Like imagine your dad saying, come on, it's time to pray and read the Bible. Like I wish my dad would have said that. Like my mom used to say that, but like I don't know, like it hits different when it's a man saying it. Like, come on, let's read the Bible. It's time. You could call me a dictator. Like she don't understand the magnitude of that blessing. She will one day, but right. All right. So while we already have Ariel on the hot seat, Mimi and Ariel, who wants to go first on 26? Because they wanna battle it out. And the last verse we have is G. Don't buy Hershey from Bronx. Sometimes they don't know how to act. You were thinking that too? I didn't even catch that. Wow, guys. This is why it's Friday Night Live where everybody has a voice because I did not. I read that like 5 times and didn't even catch that. That's good. That's all you got? Because Ariel's like, that's it? There's more to that.
Is that these people wanted a show. They wanted a show. And that kind of correlates with what's happening nowadays. I don't know, you've been listening to the news lately, a lot of stuff that is going on, especially in the charismatic movement.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people getting caught, faking prophecies, faking this, faking that, and it's all show. And they're like just looking for a spectacle. They're just trying to make a name for themselves. And Jesus is like, no, we ain't doing this. He led this man outside where there was no public, there was nobody there to see. And then when the miracle occurred, and he struggled to get that miracle, so then you can see the unbelief that this man already had inside of him, that he was struggling with his miracle to the point that Jesus had to say, okay, where you live? Okay, yeah, don't even pass by that place. Just avoid that place altogether. Avoid it. So what I get out of that is like, God is like, the cleansing that's happening right now in the church is that God is like, avoid all fakery. Avoid all this pretend, all the fakeness, and get yourself in a place that is real. Because and the thing is that Jesus prophesied this 2,000 years ago. He's calling out like you're going to be the bad seed and the good seed. That was going to all grow up together. And they look exactly the same. They look exactly the same, and you can't tell the difference until you cut it, and then you tell what is what, and you know. So if you truly have the Spirit of God, you can judge, you can determine, and if you know that they're just giving you bad seed, run.
So good. Okay, so let's see. Teresa. Espérate. I'll go back, mommy. Sorry. Go.
And the Lord has to take us out of that place, out of that community or environment in order for us to get healed. And then he said, don't even go back into that village. It kind of made me think about last Saturday when Pastor, I don't even know, it was 2 weeks ago last Saturday. Pastor Julio was talking about
Lot's wife,
and forget the former things. And so it's just like Jesus is so intentional about do not go back into that village because it'll just be a cycle all over again. And go back into that place. And he already got healed. So in order to keep that healing, he needs to not even go back to his old ways.
Made it very visual. Like you can take, like you could feel like there's something wet in your eyes.
right? He made it personal. Okay. All right. So to culminate, because I got 7 minutes, what can we learn from this? Hey, first, he doesn't treat us all the same way. Does he love us more or less? No. We're different. So he's going to deal with us differently. He deals with us according to our need. Okay. Third, we don't get better at the same rate or in the same way. But based on, and this was based on what I learned while I was studying, but clearly more things were added. So what can we add to this from tonight's class? Right? Because this is, that he doesn't treat us all the same. He deals with us differently. Don't walk on slippery ice. Stop playing. Okay. But what else based on what Julissa said, based on what Melissa said, based on what Teresa said, based on what everybody put, what else can we add to this list from tonight's class that we can really glean? We need to be obedient from what Teresa, Ariel, and Mimi said. Also, don't go back, right? If he already healed you, why are you going to go back? Okay. Another one that Mimi said is maybe that village what caused the blindness in the first place, which goes back to how I even started the class without even knowing. Our surroundings matter. Our community matters. Okay. Avoid the fakery. I've never even heard that word. I love it. Just let's be intentional, like Melissa said, about what we're doing and how we're walking. Okay. And then the very last thing, this man was saved by his honesty. Are you blind? Come to him. Is your vision blurry? Come to him. Do you see men as trees walking? Come to him. And I'll tell you this part. I don't know if y'all ever been, and with this we're going to end. I don't know if y'all ever been to the doctor's office and they're like, tell me the letters that you see there, and you don't know which letter, so you start making it up. I don't know if y'all did that, but I have. I'm like, that's definitely like a C, D, B, X. Yeah, like, and he's like, definitely not a Z, and I'm like, oh, I see it, it's a D. I make it up. But here's the thing. He could have totally lied. He could have said, I can see clear. But he was honest. He said, I see men as trees walking. That was, yes, like, can you see? Jesus knew he couldn't see, but he was being honest. Come to him and you will not be disappointed. And this is what we should ask the Lord. I want the truth, whatever it costs me. Lord, I'm coming to you. Open the eyes of my heart that we may be able to see clear, that instead of settling for partial healing, that we would ask the Lord to heal us completely, no matter how long it takes. And like Ariel said, and the iPhone battery thing is so accurate, because I have a charger and then I have another charger because my phone is always dying. But it's the truth. The phone is always dying. But here's the thing. That is our spiritual walk, like Ariel said. If you're not connected to the source and you're holding on to last week's blessing, you're going to walk around. You're not going to be able to communicate. But could you?
Still walk right out of this.
And still found him.
Still found him. He didn't, like, even though those people brought a spectacle, Christ didn't say, not today, I'll do it later when people aren't watching. He brought him out the village.
That's right.
And healed him and told him.
And that is a recurring theme, obviously, in our church now, because that's what the pastor preached about on Saturday. And he was hitting that thing hard. Like, don't go back. Don't be Lot's wife. Don't even look back. We don't even know her name because she looked back. So, obviously, go ahead.
You should know better. Instead of being like, no, we know each other for the longest time. Like, the people that you know the longest, you like the most chill with them. People who just know, like, who are you? Where you come from? The people you know the longest, you like chill with them. But the Lord is like the opposite. He's like, no, you have to know the difference by now. Mm-hmm. You're mature. You're not a kid anymore. Because he's looking. Because the more you've been walking with him, the more it's like this is ABC to you now. I should not be leading you by the hand anymore. This is for the kids. I have to lead from the hand. But you're an adult now. You should know better.
It's really for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why would you want to stay in the same place the rest of your life?
Yeah.
When God has so much
more. And we're not really when we're not connecting entirely with the Lord, we're not reaping the benefits of connecting with the Lord entirely, right? Because we're just living off of crumbs. So it is very important for us to connect daily. Yeah.
You can't act like you're still sucking on a bottle.
Yeah, like I didn't know. You are lying.
Right? You can't act like a teenager. People are not going to really buy that excuse.
That worked 2 years ago. Yeah. Not anymore. All right, guys. And with that, we wrap it up. Next week, we're going to have a class still, but it's going to be shortened because we will really celebrate Valentine's Day. But I actually had a dinner planned for Friday Night Live for Christmas, and it decided to give a big old snowstorm, so that had to be postponed. So now we're going to do it next Friday. So we will be providing dinner for you guys, and then a short class, obviously, because my Zoom people. I just realized that Karim is from Houston. Didn't know that, but that's okay. One day we will meet in real life. But thank you so much for tuning in from Houston. That is cool. So next week we will have a shortened class, but we still have a class. But come hungry because we're going to have food. And there will be pork, but I won't be taking part in any of that pork. But we will have chicken. Yeah, we will have chicken for those that don't eat pork. This is pork. Do not eat. This is beef. Do not eat. All right, so let's all rise.